Good morning. So I thought I'd just fill you all in with a little bit about my day today. So it's Thursday today, which is notoriously quite a busy day for me because I volunteer on a Monday and a Thursday at two different places. So on a Monday, it's at Sunny's, which is a fantastic charity. It's been running for about 20 years in Rutland, and that actually supports families that have got a child with SEND needs, so some sort of additional care needs, either diagnosed or undiagnosed. So we have a lot of mums coming in that have got a brand new baby and things are happening, but it's not been diagnosed yet and they're going through the process, or mums that something physically has happened. So like for me, when I used to go as a parent, it was because my baby had had a brain hemorrhage and a stroke, and she was left with a lot of damage and was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. So I used to go just for other mums' support. And when you're going through life with a child that's got additional care needs and you're going through constantly having to make phone calls and read letters that you can't understand and speak to doctors that make no sense, it's an absolute... It's like it's a full-time job, basically. It's a full-time job around everything else that you're doing. So we just provide support, which is much needed. So I do it on a Monday, and then on a Thursday I do the breastfeeding group, which is where I've been volunteering now for 13 years, and we support mums pregnant or with their baby to feed their baby with breast milk. So that is, if you've ever tried to breastfeed, it can be so challenging. Having a baby is challenging, full stop, to be fair. So just offering that support with mums that just need that, just to get them past that week. That's how it was for me. It was always just to get through one more week. I'd always see the goal is going to the group on the Thursday and getting a hot drink, a biscuit, sitting down. One of the volunteers would hold my baby so I could just breathe, go to the toilet, and we just offer that support and help mums get from week to week to week, because it can be so challenging. So you really need that support. So I do that. Anyway, I wanted to come on here and talk a bit about when I started my arbonne business 11 years ago, almost. I started because I just wanted to come off benefits. Our life had completely changed. I'd lost my job because, I'd had to walk away from my job because my daughter was extremely poorly and lived in hospital and required round-the-clock care, and I wasn't able to fit in a typical job where I have to get there for 9, clock off at 5:30. I wasn't able to fit that in around what my daughter needed. So I actually left my job and went on to benefits. My husband was working as well, and he was working full-time anyway, and he increased his hours to try and support us financially. So he was working overtime every day and weekends. So bless him, he was barely seeing his family. And this is so poignant because our daughter, who was poorly, is now almost 13. And she actually asked her dad when she was about 6, she said to her dad, "Daddy, when did you move in with us? Because obviously you didn't live with us when I was little." And that, I couldn't believe when she said that, and I think it cut deep for both of us, because he did live with us, but because he was always working, because I'd left my job to be her main carer. Can you imagine? I look back now and I think, how did we do that as a couple? Like, the stress and the strain, awful. So I started my business because I wanted to come off benefits. I hated being on benefits. I've got no judgment to other people, but I grew up on a council estate. My parents were teenagers. We were living off benefits, and it was back in the day where you'd have to queue up at the council to get your money for the week or fortnight, whatever it was, and I hated it. I was embarrassed. I'd go to school, people would know, and I'd have my ticket for my free hot meal, which it was really obvious back then who was on benefits and who wasn't. I don't think it's like that now. And I remember as a kid thinking, I'm never, ever going to be like this. So as soon as I was 16, I was out working. In fact, I was out working when I was able to get a paper round. So that was even younger. But I was out working, and I was like, I'm never, ever going to be on benefits. So you can imagine how disappointed I was in myself when I'd had to leave my job that I loved, my career, working in ophthalmology, and had to be supported on benefits. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But you know, when you're a child and you make a decision that this is something you're not going to do, like for a lot of children, their parents smoke and they're like, I'm never ever going to smoke. Imagine how disappointed they are in themselves when that happens when they're an adult. So that was kind of like the feeling. So when I started Arbonne, I was like, right, I can build this business. I've got this online website, this platform, this shop. I can build this from hospital with my daughter, and I can get us off benefits. So my initial reason for building an Arbonne business was to come off benefits. So I understood it wasn't easy, no businesses, but all I really needed to focus on was helping 10 customers who loved my products. So I was like, right, I'm going to learn everything I can about the products and share the benefits, use them myself, and give people like my honest testimonials I was like, I'm going to help 10 customers that absolutely fall in love with the products like I have, and then help 4 members of my team. Obviously, I didn't have a team to start with, but help 4 people join my team and help them be really successful. So I was like, okay, I know this isn't easy, but it's really doable, especially for my phone in hospital. So that was my goal. Now, I didn't foresee that 11 years later, what this business would mean for me now is every day I'm able to go and help my nan, who wasn't really old when I started this business. She certainly didn't require any carers or care, and now she's had a fall, and until we can get anything sorted out, I'm the one that's going around doing all of her personal care and helping her get up in the morning, helping her get washed, helping her get ready, making sure that she's got everything that she needs for the day. And then this week I've kind of gone backwards and back into hospital life, which I used to experience with my daughter. Now for my nan, talking to doctors and consultants and different people to help her get what she needs. So yesterday somebody came around and assessed her for like a commode and an extra raise for the toilet and a walker and all these like different things, which is amazing. So now I'm back to being on hold and talking to all these people in like the NHS, for example. So when I started this business, I didn't foresee that what this would mean is I've got the ability every day to go and help my nan get ready for the day. And not only that, because I was like, if I did a normal job, I wouldn't be able to do that. And not only that, every time she rings, I'm able to either answer or ring her back if I'm helping one of the babies. Sometimes I hear my phone ring, but I've got Hera on the toilet, for example, so I'm able to go back and ring her back. If I was working at the opticians, which was my career, I wouldn't be able to do that. And it really made me think, oh my gosh, I wish more people knew that they can work on their living and getting their bills paid, but they can also work part-time on building something like Arbonne, I call it my fortune, so that in the future, I mean, I hope people don't need it, but in the future, if people need to be flexible because they've got loved ones that require them to drop everything, they can actually be there. And you know what? Doing Arbonne, it's a lot of fun. It's an absolute blast. Yeah, it's not easy. You're going to have people that say, oh, why would I spend money on decent products when I can just go and get, you know, £1 products from Boots? And that's fine. That's their choice. It's like holidays. Not everyone wants to go to Disney World. They want to go camping. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So you're going to have people that it's not for them. No problem. You only need 10 customers. If you look out on your street, you're only really looking for probably 2 or 3 people that live in those houses, and just talking about numbers. And then look at the whole of your street, the whole of your estate, the whole of your town. And bearing in mind, you can have those 10 customers in all the countries that we're in. So it's not really a big, massive deal. So if somebody says, oh, it's not for me, all right, no problem. That's fine. You know, there's things that I say are not for me all the time. Like, you know, when you buy a car, I mean, I've been lucky enough that Arbonne pays for my car, because when you get to a certain level in Arbonne, you have the white Mercedes, and I think I've had 4 or 5. And Arbonne paid for that. It has to be a white Mercedes. So when somebody tries to sell me a black BMW, I'm like, oh no, it's not for me. That's no judgment on that. It's just that Arbonne paid me to have a white Mercedes, and I love it. So if people say, oh no, I don't want to buy your products, like, okay, that's fine. So I just think more people should be doing this on the side, having a good time, loving the products, helping find 10 customers and 4 team members to be successful, and just having that flexibility that, say, for example, in 5 or 10 years' time, you do have a loved one that does take a fall, like my nan, you're able to be there at the drop of the hat and then go and help. And then on top of that, so I've got my 2 little babies as well. So we've got 4 children in total. My eldest daughter has something called ARFID. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not, but basically it's like a food restriction type fear, I'd say. So when she was little, she was what you would call a fussy eater, and I'm like a home cook. Everything's made from scratch, everything's clean. So she would turn her nose up at it, and I'd be like, gosh, what am I doing wrong here? Whereas my other daughter would just eat everything. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's not me, I'm not really sure. And then we've got 2 other children as well, and they love what I make as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm guessing it's not me. And then over the years, our daughter, we soon learned that our daughter actually doesn't have hunger signals. So you know how the normal person, if they didn't eat for so many hours, they'd start to feel hungry? When you have ARFID, you don't have this. So you can go days without feeling hungry, and somebody has to prompt you to eat, and you have more taste buds in your mouth. So when you eat something, it's heightened, like it's like really spicy or really salty or really sweet or sour, and it's too strong. So when I'm cooking all my lovely meals from scratch, they vary. You know, you can make the same like lentil bolognese from one day to the next, but it tweaks, it varies. It's like a little bit sweeter, it's a little bit saltier, it's a little bit more watery, etc. So when you've got children with ARFID or adults, their anxiety goes through the roof because they don't know how it's going to taste. It's going to be very extreme for them. Even one tiny variation is massive. So this gives them a lot of worry about food, to the point where they're terrified of food. Food scares them unless it's what they call a safe food, which is usually packaged because they taste identical. Like my daughter loves Walker's Ready Salted Crisp, because no matter what pack of Walker's Salted Ready Salted Crisp she opens, it's identical, it's the same. So homemade cooking, like she does eat, but it's a fear thing. It's like, oh gosh, how's it gonna be? Anyway, I digress. So I've got an appointment for that today as well. So that was something that I didn't even know was going to happen when I started my arbonne business, having the flexibility to be able to support my older children now they're older. And also she has a brace as well. So I don't know if anyone has experience with children with braces. The appointments are endless. You've constantly got appointments, and then you've got appointments in the middle of the appointments where a band's come off and you've got to go and get that sorted. So I'm always having to take her for that. My point being, if you are living a really comfortable life right now and everything's rosy, but you think, gosh, maybe in 10 years' time, I do need to be more flexible because my children are going to be older, they might have a brace, they might need appointments for different things, I've got an elderly parent or grandparent that's going to need caring for. Maybe this is the thing to build alongside your main job, your main commitments, because this is a part-time thing. This is not a full-time thing, although it does pay you full-time. It's part-time work with full-time income. Once you've got those 10 customers and 4 team members you're helping to be successful. So I would say just join, come and join, have loads of fun. We have the best time. We have so much fun online and in person. And I'm actually going on a trip. I'm very excited, an arbonne trip in a few weeks to Arizona, which is an arbonne trip, an arbonne incentive trip. So I'm going there, I'm going to share everything about the whole trip. And I just want loads of the team members to be able to earn these things, because then the one after that is Vegas, and then we've got Dubai, Maui and Hawaii. Like there's always things going on, and obviously you don't have to go for the trips if you don't want to, but there's always something fun to go for. So why not? You know, when people are like, oh, I've come into some money, I'm going to start putting it into property and build a property portfolio, that's absolutely fine. But the reason why they're doing that is to work full-time on making their living, and then have a part-time side thing like properties to generate an income that's coming in, whether you're poorly or not, that income's coming in from properties. This is our version of that. If you don't have money to invest in stocks and shares and properties, which I didn't, I was like, I'm going to, instead of investing my money, which I didn't have, I'm going to invest my time into this along the side of everything else I'm doing. So you could invest some of your time into a side thing like this and then build an absolute fortune. And then the money from that, you can either put into savings, you could pay off your mortgage so you're not paying like 70 grand in interest, or you could invest it into like stock shares, properties, or you could just buy yourself lots of nice treats, go on some nice holidays, you know, whatever your dreams are really. I think for most people, they just want security. Like, you know, that 4 a.m. anxiety is usually about your loved ones and how everybody's going to be. And if money is flowing, things are easier. Like, I'm not saying that you're not going to have any worries, because you will, but things are easier solved when the money's just flowing. So you could build this on the side of the main thing you're doing, which is what everyone else does. And then say in 5 or 10 years time, there was a reason that you look back and thought, gosh, I'm so glad that I started my arbonne business, I worked with Danny, and then became successful, and here we go. So that's me. I'd love to work with you. I just want to work with loads of really nice, fun people. Like, our team is so lovely. Everyone's genuine, everyone's authentic, everyone's nice, everyone's friendly, everyone's a go-getter, everyone's like a motivated person. Everyone in the team is the sort of person that's like, right, what can I do next? I love working with those types of people because it lights my fire. So if you're like that and you want to come and work within our team, I'd love to have you. We're going to have loads of fun. We'll go on the trips together with your family if you've got family, and just have an absolute blast. So just let me know if you've got questions before you decide, yeah, this is for me, I'm in, and I'm excited. And now I'm going to go and help my nan now.